What's going on, y'all? It's Yarrii, and you're watching Yarrii's Take the Podcast, where I keep everything raw, uncut, and educational. In this podcast, I hope to reach out to people who are ready to wake up and heal from generational trauma. Stick around to learn something new with each and every episode and see the world through my take. Now, as you all know, Ramadan is just 16 days away. That's literally around the corner. In this episode, I want to talk about what Ramadan is, talk about the health benefits, the spiritual benefits, and how to prepare for Ramadan in the best way possible. And to do that with me, I brought on a great friend of mine, as well as the former president of Muslim Student Association on Del State's campus, Alayiah Joy. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Hi, I'm here to talk about preparing for Ramadan and, you know, all the things that go along with it on Yarrii's Take. So.
Yes, I appreciate you coming along and, you know, joining me in this conversation. Yes. You were a great friend that I made along with MSA, and you educated me in things that I didn't know, and I feel like we both did that for each other, and we helped each other grow Islamically, and I hope we can help other people do that too.
For sure, for sure.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
For those who don't know, I just want to give a quick little intro of what Ramadan is. It's, me and you know, but for those who don't, it's the holiest and the 9th month of the Islamic calendar. It's a time for Muslims to reflect, increase their prayers, fast from food and water, between sunrise and sunset, read Quran more, increase your good deeds, and it's also a commemoration of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his first revelation.
Right.
The purpose of it is basically to grow spiritually, become closer to Allah and the community, spiritually discipline yourself and humble yourself on what to be grateful for this month.
Right.
Right?
During Ramadan, Allah sent down the Quran on the 24th day, and you know, we are still growing from the Quran. Everybody is, even if you learn the Quran through and through, you are still learning from it, and we're still benefiting from it. So, you know, we take this time so that we can understand Allah through His book and through acts of worship and things.
And become the best Muslim possible in the eyes of Allah.
Growing closer together.
Yes. Before I do get into everything, let's talk about some of the health benefits that Ramadan has, because I feel like there's a controversy when we're fasting all day long and not drinking water, we're dehydrated, and non-Muslims tend to see it as a devious act, and they think we're harming our bodies, when in reality it has so many health benefits, like promoting sugar control and reducing insulin resistance. That's what Google said.
So yeah, it does help your body create, you know, stronger cells, and it gives your cells more life, so that they, like your body's organs will, you know, work faster, stronger, like insulin, that comes from your pancreas. And so when you have the, you know, cells generating faster and stronger, you're able to metabolize faster and break down that food that, you know, we consume throughout the year. That's not good for us.
No, taking a break from eating allows your body to focus on removing all those toxins and allowing your digestive system to take a break. It fights off inflammation. It has a lot of heart benefits. It like increases your heart health.
It's very important to speak about the heart health, because it physically, Ramadan is a physical exertion, and it's a spiritual exertion, and it's a mental exertion. So when you are, you know, fasting and your body is working so that you, instead of, you know, taking the energy from the food, it's taking the energy from yourself, like the food that you put in your body early that morning. And you're working throughout your day, your heart is growing stronger and it's pumping blood faster. If you have problems like health problems like hypertension, your heart actually grows stronger, so that you're not, or let me say that again. Your heart physically gets stronger and can lessen your blood pressure. So, you know, if you have, you know, certain health problems, you are healing throughout the month.
Right. It's also important to get in touch with your physician and making sure that your body is healthy enough to fast, because fasting is not obligated for the elderly, for well, obviously people traveling, pregnant people who have health problems, as well as if your body has a certain sickness where fasting will hurt your body. You do not have to fast. Yes, fasting is like one of the pillars of Islam, but if your body is not healthy enough, Allah never permits anything to harm your health.
Allah is here to, as a mercy. He, you know, is the most merciful. So, and we have friends, you know, that cannot fast, but they still observe the month of Ramadan as the holiest month, and they still practice acts of worship and things like that. You know, Muslims want to do as much as they can during this month, because, like I said, or the jinns and the shaitan is locked up, and our blessings, as our intentions are good, our blessings are taken up to Allah through this month.
I don't think so. Like me and you know what that means, but non-Muslims don't know what that means. And I think I want to touch a little bit into that about the shaitan and jinns being locked up.
Okay.
Shaitan is basically Satan, and jinns are the unseen. I guess we could call them demons, or
they're more like regular, like how people are.
Right.
But
they're
they're
their
just
own
unseen.
race. Yes, they're the unseen.
And they look way different than what we look like. They're
Yes.
described differently, and so.
And every day, as humans, Allah tests us, and we have jinns and shaitan in our ear whispering to us. Also, your nafis constantly, like, basically trying to encourage you to sin. And
Which
during
is
yes,
so you have your nefis or nafis, which is basically, that little voice in your head, and
Yes.
you're like, I know I shouldn't do this, but
the intrusive thoughts.
it's telling me, and so you're basically fighting yourself all the time, and that's your nafs, and so. They will whisper to your nafs, and they'll say, you should do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're like,
encouraging you to do things you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
And those entities basically are locked up during the month of Ramadan. So we are everything that we do is basically on our free will, our own nifs, and our own actions. So it's really important to connect with Allah during this time to show that we are committed Muslims.
Yes, mashallah.
Mashallah, yes. How are you feeling about Ramadan? Are you excited? Are you nervous?
So a lot of emotions play into it, preparing for Ramadan. We start preparing as soon as Ramadan is over. We start preparing again. I'm trying to be practical like the Prophet. The Prophet was practical in his preparation. He wanted to make sure that he was fasting beforehand, increasing his salat at the night beforehand, so that it would be easier for him throughout the Ramadan.
Right.
And, we all want to be like the Prophet, so that's like something
follow in his footsteps.
Exactly. So that's always going to be like a little, not a stressor, but something that you're always going to keep at the back of your mind. You want to be as good as him. So, that's always going to push me. But at the same time, I'm very excited. Like, this is the time we're going to see more Muslims. You know what I mean? We're going to be together. We're going to pray together. We're going to eat together. Like,
Yes.
I'm so excited. I love the Muslims.
Girl, I love my community as well. I'm excited, like personally, I'm excited and I'm a little bit nervous because I will be spending Ramadan on campus, and it's hard, being surrounded by, I know a lot of people can relate to this because we live in a country where we're constantly surrounded by temptations, zina, fitna, and it's hard to try to commit yourself Islamically 100% when you are constantly surrounded by these temptations. But other than spending it alone on campus, I want to get in touch with the Dover community, the Muslim community, so I'm not alone. I go home every weekend, and I will be seeing my family on the weekend, but it's kind of like hard because every Ramadan we spend together with my family, and I'm a little sad about not being with my family throughout all of Ramadan, but I'm excited because I am trying to get closer on my deen, and like I said, it's hard to do that in a country like this where we're surrounded by people, where we're surrounded by forces that push us away from our deen. So it's really important to try to prepare for Ramadan in the best way possible. And I just want to remind people that, we are in a country where we're surrounded by temptations, and a lot of people find it hard to commit to Ramadan and commit to Islam as a whole. But I just want to be mindful and remind you of our Muslim brothers and sisters in suffering countries and third world countries where they have a lot going on, where we can't relate to what they're going through, and they don't refrain from not participating in Ramadan, even with bullets flying over their heads or the war that they're dealing with. They continue to practice in Ramadan, and I just want to say, be mindful of those brothers and sisters out there continuing Ramadan, and don't let these temptations be an excuse to not participating in Ramadan, because we have no excuse. We have it comfortable here in this country, so we have to be mindful, to be grateful and humble ourselves in that way.
And that's why it's important to just continue to read the Quran, to understand, the mercy of Allah, but to also fear Allah as much as you can, because there is a hereafter. That's what we believe as Muslims, that this life is short term and there is a hereafter. So there are many distractions. If there weren't distractions, it would be easy. Like, everybody would, probably get along, and there would be no need for us. But there were put distractions to test us. So
everything's a test from Allah.
Right. So when we go throughout the year, and distractions are put in front of us, and we see, all these pleasures that are outside of the pleasure of Allah. And we chase those pleasures because we're like, you know, our nafs are speaking to us, and we're like, you know, this is what I want to do, but I know I shouldn't. But when we get closer to Ramadan, it's like we refrain from those things that we chase, because we know we have more tawakkul of Allah. Is it tawakkul or?
Well, I have an accent when I say it because like I'm Turkish, tawakkul. But like, how would you explain this, define that to non-Muslims?
So tawakkul is God consciousness, Allah consciousness. So we do it by remembering Allah often. We say Allahu Akbar, which means Allah is greatest. And we say Alhamdulillah, which means thanks to
God.
Allah.
Yep.
Yeah. And we say Subhanallah, and that's dhikr. We say shukr, which is thanking Allah. And then I forget the last one. Sorry. But yeah,
I'm right there with you.
remembering Allah often, and that's what we should do throughout the year. But Allah sends Ramadan as a mercy so that we can remember Him more, so that throughout the year we are rebooted, like you know, like,
it's like almost like a rebirth. It's like it's like a New Year resolution for us, but it's not the New Year for everybody else.
Honestly.
But I want to touch into how to prepare for Ramadan, especially for the reverts and the beginner people who want to participate in Ramadan. I know it can be hard, especially for the reverts or anybody who's, even if you're not a revert, some people are getting back into their deen and trying to get back into Ramadan. So it's important to prepare ourselves now, because like I said, there's only 16 days left, and the sooner you prepare, the better. And one thing that you can do, like for those who aren't comfortable with fasting, you can start practicing voluntary fasting. And for those who were fasting before, make up your previous fast. I know there were days where you missed from last Ramadan. Start by practicing how to fast before Ramadan comes along. So when Ramadan comes, you're not struggling and hangry and irritated, and your body's already used to fasting from beforehand.
That's the practicality that the Prophet would speak before, that the Prophet would practice before.
Yes.
He would, you know, fast, like I said. He would pray more through the night, but he would also thank Allah more, and then he would motivate his Muslim brothers and sisters. You know, obviously, I said, like, we come together more, and that's the beauty of, and why people are so excited sometimes, because, you know, we miss our Muslim brothers and sisters, and we get to see them, you know, not only like for eating and stuff, but people choose to cover up more. Like you said, you know, you grow farther from Allah, but then you go closer. Like our deen goes up and it goes down.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, you know, this is a time where your deen skyrockets.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It should. And if it's not, don't feel bad that it's not. Like, don't judge or guilt yourself. Like, just try to be mindful of Allah and keep Him in your thoughts, and be mindful of the Prophet, and just try to follow in his footsteps as best as you can. Another thing that you could do to basically prepare is cutting out junk food and unhealthy eating habits, avoiding your snacks. Like, try to cut down your meals. Like, if you eat 3 meals a day, you should start practicing on eating 2 meals a day to adjust your body to get comfortable with sahur and iftar, because that's the times we eat.
Right.
And junk food, it's so bad for your body, and they create cravings, and almost like it's like an addiction, where certain junk foods are so addicting where your body is craving that through Ramadan. So cutting that out sooner is going to benefit you even better.
For sure. Your hormones do definitely play a part in how you feel. So you might crave things, like you said, that's your brain sensing. Like addictions, like there's this book called Atomic Habits, and it talks about like how your habits, like you don't see them, how they can be caused by just a look or just a smell or something like that. So when you're throughout the year and you're eating junk food, you might not even notice that how much you're eating, how bad it's for you, and how it's making you feel bad and things like that. But when it gets close to Ramadan, or just now, just realize like what you're eating. Say, is this good for me? How does this make me feel? Questioning yourself a lot more, so that you can come into Ramadan and you come out feeling a whole lot better.
Right? Physically, mentally, spiritually, all of it.
Yeah.
I cut back on like eating junk food and drinking like soda and like concentrated drinks. I want to say 2 years ago, every now and then I'll have a craving, and I'll try to satisfy that craving like once a month. But other than that, like I literally, even with soda, like it hurts my stomach. I can feel the acid just burning through my stomach, and it doesn't feel as good as it used to. Like I used to gulp down soda with every meal, you know, but ever since I cut it out, now it kind of like hurts to drink it. And you feel how bad it is for your body, and you can literally feel it basically messing up your health.
Yeah.
But moving forward,
I'm actually glad you mentioned that, because when you grow closer to Allah, that's you could parallel
Parallel.
It's a parallel. When you grow closer to Allah, you know, you start to love what He loves and you start to hate what He hates.
Yes.
And He loves the people who remember Him often. He loves when people speak good, and He loves, you know, just the goodness that we do and
practice.
And we practice and our good intentions. So,
yes.
you know, when we start to practice those good things, we start to hate the bad things. You know what I mean?
Like even your body and your mind starts rejecting it.
And we start to, and this is another thing Muslims will do, is we will start to distance ourselves sometimes throughout the month of Ramadan, because we want to focus on being with things Allah loves. And sometimes non-Muslims, like I'm friends with non-Muslims, and sometimes like it's hard for me. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I can't right now. I can't do this. I can't do that. And you know, I can't really hang out because I'm trying to focus on the things that Allah loves. And even though I love my friends, and I love, maybe we shouldn't say.
Go ahead.
Okay.
No, that's understandable, because it's like, they're not bad people. They're just non-Muslims who won't understand why we do what we do. And sometimes like during Ramadan, stepping away from your non-Muslim friends isn't something that you should feel bad about. It's just a way for you to get closer to Allah. And those friends, don't do that. You should surround your friends, surround yourself around friends who push you closer to Allah. And it's okay to have friends that are non-Muslim, you know.
Teaching them is part of our deen too. And some people, they might not want to learn, but teaching your friends, the friends who really care about you, they want to know something about you. And if your deen is really important to you, then they will start to learn. And they might push you as well.
Questions.
Yes, exactly.
That's another thing. It shows like friends who genuinely care about you will want to know what you care about, and then you guys will be interested in each other's interests, and you can teach each other through what your culture is, what your religion is, and vice versa.
And you don't want to push your religion onto anyone, of course
not.
But
you can inform them on what it is and let them have the curiosity to learn more.
Right. And that's the thing, like you don't want to, and the curiosity grows though. And so, you know, Allah said, or in the hadith it says, you follow the religion of your friend.
Right.
And, you know, it's not really like that here in America. And nowadays, maybe you're not, you know, my friends aren't all Muslim and stuff like that. But if they see me and how I'm supposed to be as a Muslim, they should be more curious about things, because we are strangers in this world.
Right.
And so they don't know a lot of things about me. I'm very private. I'm very, you know, to myself. So, when I do talk to them, it's like a lot of new things coming up, a lot of things they don't know. So, inshallah, if your friends, you know, are interested in getting to know anything about Islam, this is a good time to, you know, teach them and stuff like that.
It's also an act of worship of Allah. Like, it's spreading the deen, it's spreading the knowledge, it's spreading Allah's words, which you will be gaining sevap for. Is that, I believe sevap is in Turkish. It's basically good deeds.
Yeah.
Yes. But
Barakat, or, you know.
Yes, thank you. That's something I need to work on, expanding my Arabic dictionary more, because I was raised in Turkish mosques, so they taught us mostly in Turkish. So now I struggle connecting with other Muslims, because they are taught mostly in the Arabic terms, and I struggle with finding the Arabic terms for things sometimes. Yeah. That's something also that you can educate yourself on.
Right, and as, like, for anyone, I'm black, and well, anyone, they can, you know, work on their Arabic. You know, we should always strive to learn Arabic, because that's the, you know,
that's how we can understand the Quran. Yep.
The Quran, exactly.
And Allah's word.
Yep. And whoever struggles to read one letter of the Quran is getting many barakats.
Yeah,
so.
That's fine, as long as you're trying.
Exactly.
But I want to also mention that before Ramadan comes around, I think it's really important to cut out your bad habits. Like, I know I'm not judging anybody, but there are a lot of Muslims who make mistakes. We all do, we're human. Cut out all your bad habits. If you're a drinker, if you're a smoker, if you use profanity, like, cut those habits out before Ramadan comes along. So during Ramadan, you're not gaining bad deeds as well, and you're making better deeds. And Allah says, if you leave anything for me, like any bad habit that you leave for me, I love you. Like, doing that for Allah gains you so much barakah and good deeds alone. So cutting from, like you should be cutting from that all year long. But if you can't do that, if you struggle with those temptations heavily, you should try to at least practice that during Ramadan, and give yourself a tolerance break, give yourself a month break, and quit those bad habits, because it's not easy to cut it once Ramadan comes along, and now you're spending all of Ramadan struggling to let go of those temptations.
So yeah, another thing Allah says is He will heal the breast of a believing folk at Surah At-Tawbah, or Ayah 14. And basically, once you you start to realize the bad habits that you have. You work on, noticing what you actually have to fix. Then you work at stopping those things. Then, you ask Allah. Well, you start with asking Allah. You say, Ya Allah, I'm struggling, I'm struggling to stop drinking. I'm struggling to stop smoking. And my friends, they pulling me in. So you say, Ya Allah, I need your help, guide me to the good path, or on the right path, guide me to the on the path of the mustaqeen. And we say, supplications so that Allah is closer with us, and then that in turn gets us to stop what we leave the bad things off, and then we
you can ask, like asking Allah for help. That's another thing. Like a lot of people, I feel like that's also the shaitan speaking in your ear. Like they feel guilty to go to Allah while they're doing bad things because they feel like Allah, they're disappointing Allah, and they shouldn't be asking for forgiveness because they feel guilty for the things that they're doing. But Allah cannot forgive you if you don't ask for forgiveness. Like you have to, like I said before, closed mouths don't get fed. You have to ask Allah to help you. Like even if you are not ready to ask for forgiveness in that moment and you're trying to quit those bad habits, ask Him how to help you. Like ask Him to help you so Allah can help you. And Allah listens to all of us, even just your thoughts. But put your head on a sajda, try to read your Quran more, get back into your praying, because that's the only way He can help you.
Allah can hear you, you know what I mean? Like the Prophet ﷺ said, they were traveling up the mountain and they were saying, Allahu Akbar, they were yelling it. But the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, you don't have to yell, you don't have to exert yourself, because Allah is
He can even hear your most inner thoughts.
You're not talking to a deaf person, you're talking to the all-hearing. So, you don't have to exert yourself. Allah is the most merciful. That's what we have to remember, that the forgiveness of Allah. And we have to remember the mercy of Allah.
His mercy has no bounds.
Exactly. And you will always go back to Him if you remember those things, that He wants to forgive you. He wants to forgive you, and He wants you to see His mercy. He wants to see the good that He has. He's shy. So, you know what I mean? Like, think of the good qualities. Call upon His good names, and they're all good. They're all great. But call upon His names and, see Allah through how He wants to see you, how He wants to be seen, so that you can feel the mercy of it, so that you can want to turn back to Him.
That was literally so beautifully said.
Oh, no.
I love that. I love that. But another thing that I feel like a lot of people don't do, pay your zakats. Like pay your zakats before Ramadan comes along.
They say, I'm broke. What do I do? You know what I mean?
But it's like, zakat doesn't make you any broker. If anything, it makes you even richer. Even if it doesn't financially make you richer, it will spiritually make you richer, and Allah will give you back plentiful. You have to give back to charity. If you are somebody who is working and making money, a portion of your pay has to go to charity. And it can't be your family members or people who you know. It has to go to those people in need that you do not have a personal connection to. I
don't know if you know the percentage. I can't say for sure, but I'm pretty sure it was less than 10% of your money. I'm pretty sure it's way less than 10%. But
I really don't remember off the top of my head right now.
Everybody should look this up. But the amount you're supposed to give in zakat is so low. Like Allah doesn't want you to give all your money away. He wants you to
give back to those in need.
So it's a circle. So you're giving to this person, they give to this person, and then look, you're getting that money back. You are getting richer, but you're also getting barakat. If you don't get that money back, you're getting the blessings from that money.
You're getting richer in the afterlife. It's literally building your house in the afterlife.
Yeah,
that's what it's doing for you. You may not get it back in this lifetime, but as Muslims, we do believe in the afterlife, and you know that everything that you do in this world affects the life after.
Everything. It's a test.
Everything is a test in this world. Like, we are not here for fun. We are not here to enjoy these worldly desires. We are here to test our faith. We are here to test our belief on how strong and how committed we are to Allah.
SubhanAllah.
SubhanAllah. You personally, right? What do you want to better yourself this Ramadan? What is one thing that you want to focus on bettering this Ramadan?
That's a tough question, because I just feel like there's so much every day. I sit, and I don't know if a lot of people write, but I like to write, and I sit and I write, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe I did this, and like, this is what I thought about, and things like that, and like it will be just a lot that I want to fix just day to day. So coming out of it, like with the whole broad thing, it's literally like I just say fix everything. Like You know what I mean?
No, that's understandable, but you don't think there's one focus point where you would be like, this is the one spot, this is my weakest point, this is what I struggle with the most?
Yeah. I would say, long pause.
Go ahead. While you think, I personally am trying to focus on cutting out profanity from my vocabulary. That's something I struggle with. I try not to broadcast that on social media because, you know, like Allah said, do not broadcast your sins, sin in private. But that's something that I'm trying to work better on. I'm trying to cut out profanity from my vocabulary. And I'm like, not just for Ramadan, I want to start, hopefully use Ramadan as an excuse to start that and keep it around all year long and all like my whole lifetime. Because I feel like living in America and being surrounded by people who just casually use that in their vocabulary, I caught onto that as well. Like I picked up that habit and I'm not proud of it, but it's just something that I did catch up on living here, and it's something that I'm trying to let go of.
Right. Yeah.
But like you said, I want to work on everything for Ramadan. I want to make sure that I'm up to date with my prayers. I want to participate with Tarawih, inshallah, every night. I'm all of it. Like,
and may Allah make it easy on you, and may He
all of us
grant you all the du'as.
Ameen.
Ameen.
Ameen. All of us.
So I mean, like you said, I want to talk better. I want to increase the good that comes out of what I say. I want to. The main focus, I think, is my learning habits. I want to be better at searching for knowledge, and I want to be better with tawheed. Like that's the most important thing as a Muslim, is the oneness of Allah. And we don't realize how much we praise other than Allah until, like, you know, you start to learn Allah and what He likes and what He dislikes. So I really do want to learn more and just take that time to read,
educate
Quran
myself
more
and get
understand
closer.
exactly. That's the most important to me.
Yes, it is important. Like, even though I was born Muslim and raised Muslim, there's a lot that I still don't know, and there's a lot that I still need to.
We're never done educating ourselves.
No,
ever.
Your whole life is spent educating yourself and learning better than last year, and making sure you're fixing your toxic traits, making sure you're letting go of bad habits and worldly desires, and constantly educating yourself on how to get closer to the deen, because the Quran is a big book. It's like, what, 600 something pages? We don't know. We don't know the translation page. There's a lot that we still need to learn, and the Quran is exactly where we need to start. That's what Allah gave to us. And following the hadiths as well. That's also very important. But I think it's important to start with the Quran and start from there and just continue and move forward. And
right.
I'm excited though. Like I hope I see more of you this Ramadan.
Of course.
And I'm trying to get back. Hopefully we'll host a suhoor with all the girls again like we did last year. I'm excited for it. Like, I'm actually looking forward to it. Earlier, when we were talking about the benefits, the health benefits for Ramadan, Alayiah, before this was off camera as well, we talked about the many benefits that it has on your heart, and I wanted you to touch into that to let the listeners hear as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the heart is the most important organ in our body, not just physically. And some people might debate, lungs or heart, but the heart pumps blood to your lungs. You cannot breathe without your heart. So, but the lung is the most important organ in your body, and not just physically, spiritually as well, because I don't know if you've ever heard this term, but people say the heart wants what it wants. Your heart will lead your rest of your organs. If you love something, if you hate something, you're going to, draw closer to the things you love, and you're going to go farther from the things you hate. So when we're talking about the heart and spirituality and growing in Islam and healing in Islam, we want to talk about how the distractions of this world create darkness in our heart and how it hardens our heart.
Every time you do a bad deed, every time you do something that's not supposed to be done, like spiritually, like any type of sin, it puts a black dot on your heart, and it grows and grows as you continue with those bad deeds. But go ahead. I just wanted to add that little 2 cents in.
And think about, and you don't even know how much you sin. You have to learn about what Allah is saying as a sin. We have to learn what sins are. You don't know every sin, and I don't know every sin. And every time we speak, if we're not speaking of the goodness of Allah, or just, you have to be very conscious about these things, because the sins multiply more than you can even think of. So your heart gets hardened throughout the year, throughout your day, throughout,
Darkened.
you know, and
Yep.
so hardened and darkened, you know, it comes hard like a stone.
Right.
And so Allah, his book is a softener. It, what's that?
It
Ruqyah.
basically defrosts your heart.
Exactly. So, you know, we talk about the heart healing during Ramadan so that your heart is softened. You know, if you think about heart softening, you think about like a kind person, right?
Right.
And then we think about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam,
The kindest
who was
person.
the kind. And imagine the kindest person, but then he was kinder during Ramadan. But he was struggling as well. Like he was struggling to tell everybody what was right and wrong, and he had the religion on his shoulders, on his back. So he was struggling with that, and Allah, you know, he lifted those burdens from him. In the Surah Shar, you know, فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ
Yes.
الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا, you know.
Along with every hardship comes ease.
And every hardship, the hardship comes ease.
Yep.
So every hardship comes two eases. So, you know, he brought those eases upon Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Prophet's heart was so soft that he became kinder during the months of Ramadan. And that's what we should be focusing on, you know, being kinder towards each other. And oh my gosh, one thing.
Even kind to those who are rude to you. There
Yes.
is big good, there's many good deeds, and killing them with kindness. Literally anybody who's rude to you, if you respond with kindness, especially in the month of Ramadan, Allah will reward you for that. It is hard to not react to somebody who's treating you with disrespect or rudeness, but there is so much good deeds that come along with keeping your cool and reacting in a way that the Prophet would have reacted. Because even the Prophet, like, he struggled with many rude people. He struggled with people throwing stones at him, like stoning him while he prayed. He still didn't react badly. He even told the people who try to enforce the religion upon other people, where it's like, do not enforce the religion onto them. Hear out their gods and try to respect their religion. Show them, if you treat them with respect, they'll treat you with respect.
Right. And we want to, I'm sorry, can we take a pause?
Yes, go ahead.
There was something that you said that I wanted to touch on. What, can you run that back? You said the Prophet.
Constantly reminded people to react with kindness.
Oh yeah. So when, let's say that somebody's trying to come at you or something like that, and your first instinct is to come at them back.
Right.
If you're quick with that, but not me. So when somebody's trying to come at you, oppress you, or anything like that, if you don't speak, the angels will speak for you. The angels will defend you. So, you know, who's stronger, Allah's angels or, you know,
Us merely humans, literally.
and if we talk about the angels and how big and strong they are, we could go on and on. You know, I don't think I should mention this, but you know Jibril, like how they describe Jibril, Angel Jibril, how his ear is longer than like 500 years or something like that.
No,
Well,
I actually never heard that saying.
Oh, well, they're enormous. So Allah sent one angel in the battle. I forget which battle it is, but and you know, like in a battle, like there's however many people there were, and then you have the angel to come defend the Muslims.
Right.
And so that was more than enough. And you know, you just think about Allah's mercy when it comes to like people coming at you and stuff like that. You know, think of that as like
It's
you
like
getting
almost like
barakat for
karma.
that.
Like if you don't react, like karma is basically Allah and the angels working in your favor. It's if you let the universe take its course, it will come back around and it will find them either in this world or the afterlife. You will get your justice. You want to talk about the mosques?
Oh yeah, we can talk
Okay.
about the mosque.
I know this time of year can get very lonely for the reverts because the reverts didn't grow in a Muslim community. They didn't come from a Muslim family. So they're not are surrounded by family who wake up in the middle of the night to eat suhoor with them and to open their fast at iftar with them. It can be a very lonely time for them. And I know this can also be a very depressing time for the reverts, but I just want to remind the reverts that, you know, you're not lonely. You have millions and billions of Muslim brothers and sisters all around the world. You could start off simply with your local mosque. Me personally, I go to the Turkish mosque that I'm connected to with my family. Don't let the word Turkish scare you. It is majority Turkish people, but we are always open to new races and new people and new faces. And we're located in Glasgow. They have iftars almost every night. If you want to, get in touch with the community and not feel lonely at iftar, like you could spend sahur lonely, but like you don't have to spend iftar lonely. You reach out to your local mosques and see which mosques are doing community iftars. There's also another one in Newcastle. I will also be putting all the phone numbers, addresses, names of these mosque for you to find available for Delaware locals. But I know I'm personally am not in touch with the American mosque, the American Muslims myself. So I know you have more connections with that. If you want to let people know the connections that you have.
Inshallah. So, well, I want to just say that we're never lonely. Allah is always with us. And if you call upon Him throughout the month of Ramadan, don't matter if you're new, you're been born Muslim, whatever, you know what I mean. However long you've been Muslim for, Allah has always been there. But just call upon Him so that you can remember that you're never alone. And for the masjids, there's multiple masjids around Wilmington, and then there's masjids in Newark. The masjids I know of are in Wilmington, are Ikhlas, and the address for that. Do you want me to give the address?
No, I'll put the address all in the caption.
Okay. So the masjid I know of are masjids in Wilmington and Newark. One masjid, it's newer, it's called Ikhlas. Alhamdulillah, I know some of the brothers and sisters there, and they are upon the Sunnah and the Salafi, and they are just trying to call people upon the Sunnah. And another one is Razzaq. I go there very often. So, and they're in Wilmington as well. They also call upon the Quran, Sunnah, and Salafiyah. And then another one is Isa ibn Marayam, which is in Newark, and it's right across the street from my old Islamic school, Tarbiyah. And there's a lot of kids in there, be mindful of that, because it's a school right across from there, and they go for Quran class, and there's a lot of learning in that school as well, or in that masjid as well. But they have a lot of, iftar, and they have tarawih, and they have classes and things like that. So if you are trying to learn about Islam, and it's not just, it's every race is actually in there, like, or culture or whatever you want to say. Like, you have Palestinian, you have Saudi Arabians, you have Turkish, you have I can't name all
Americans.
of them. Yemens, you have everybody. I just met someone from Yemen yesterday or the day before. So Americans, yeah, me. And so alhamdulillah. And then Ikhlas and Razzaq, I would just try to keep up with them on Facebook, because iftar is not every day and things like that. And also about tarawih, I don't know when exactly they have tarawih, because I don't go to every masjid for tarawih.
Right.
But obviously Islamic Society of Central Delaware, they have tarawih. And
that's
they have
also in
halakas.
Dover, so the Del State students are aware of that as well.
Right.
That's like 15 minutes from Del State's campus, 15 to 20 minutes. I know they're doing iftars. I don't think they're doing every night, but I think I got to find that out for sure, but I'm pretty sure you could get connected through their WhatsApp group chat where they update. They also have a Facebook page or Instagram page, right?
They do have a Facebook page.
Yes, they keep the updates on there to let you know when the iftars will be happening. But yeah, it's...
they have a lot of events as well, so you can get connected with the Muslims,
Yeah, don't be shy to get connected into the community. That's how you're going to grow your faith and feel more connected to the deen.
Yeah, for sure. But I also wanted to say that the Islamic Society, they also have halakats. So, I think I'm saying that wrong, halakats. But they also have halakas. Yeah, I don't know why I said the T at the end. They also have
I'm pretty sure that's the Arabic term for it. I was thinking Turkish.
So they have those, and all those masjids for new Muslims, and every Muslim, we should all be searching for learning more. So
yes.
Try to ask questions about what classes they have and what you can learn and things like that.
Also participate in Taraweeh, because like just praying 5 times during Ramadan is not enough. Like Taraweeh is a big part of participating in Ramadan. It has many benefits to you, and I know my mosque specifically, they pray Taraweeh every single night with every what's the last prayer?
Isha.
Isha, yes, thank you. I gotta work on knowing the terms. I know what Maghrib is. I know I'm working on it.
Yeah.
But they pray Taraweeh after Isha every single night. Make sure you're educating yourself about the benefits of Taraweeh and how it could benefit your soul, spirit, and your heart.
You don't want to miss out on any benefits this Ramadan. You want to catch them all, you know? Catch
Just better
them all.
yourself, yes.
Yeah.
But
So, yeah.
anything else you would like to add?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. I think this was good. This was an educational podcast. I hope that, you know, it reaches out to the right people and that it encourages people to get back onto their deen and start preparing for Ramadan. I know it's only like 2 weeks away right now, but, you know, 2 weeks can do a lot if you start right now. With all that being said, that is it for this week's episode. I hope this taught you something you didn't know. I hope this inspires you to get back in touch with your deen before Ramadan comes along, or just, you know, in general. But be sure to leave comments and suggestions down below to let us know what you want to hear next. And like I have mentioned before, we are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. And make sure you follow us on Instagram, Yarrii's Take, and stick around for the next episode.